begins.
No, I mean, it's hard to say, really. I mean, it's what is a Star Wars film like, without George Lucas, actually kind of like directing it well. We've had some good ones.
Yeah.
So it's with that sort of content in other people's hands, I mean, hopefully only good can happen.
Yeah, I'm really excited to just see, and I know kids are going to go and see this movie.
Yeah.
But you wonder if they did the fan service with The Force Awakens.
Definitely.
And you just wonder if they're doing more of the fan service in a different way by showing a bit more of the underbelly of the Star Wars universe. So. They had one of my favourite Star Wars sort of scenes, I don't know how you'll feel about this, is actually in the prequels.
Yeah. When,
the opening of Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
When Padme's nearly assassinated and Anakin, they chase her through that and then they go down into it's Coruscant, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And they're walking through the bar and stuff, and I really liked that, and I wanted to see more of sort of the sort of seedy world of Star Wars, because you've got like the Imperial and the Rebel struggle going on these sort of clean planets where it's all army based and stuff. There's a living world out there that are struggling under the rule of this horrible empire. And it would be great to get a bit more of that. And
that's hopefully what we'll come across. Yeah. We're seeing this band of kind of rebels, and I think it is a small band of people that have had enough. And it's to see that side of it. And like the comics and the books have had those kind of stories for years, but to actually sort of see it, it's
very intriguing and not
definitely
something that's been explored too much. Like it's been explored plenty in the fan sort of universe that's now been debunked and all that sort of stuff, but it'll be great. I'm reminded of that Bounty Hunter game with Jango Fett.
Yeah.
Oh, that PlayStation 2.
Mm-hmm,
It's just like more of that, please. Like give me a scene where he's running around like the dumping area and it's all this huge sort of.
Well, that's it. And like
stuff.
I said, the fans have always asked for that more. Let's see like the underside of it, the actual kind of gritty side of the actual kind of universe, because we've only seen like the main players in the galaxy, and there is a whole kind of galaxy out there. So it's exciting.
Exciting is the word.
It is, it is. And you throw that in with all like the classic, kind of vehicles and that sort of thing. I think it'll fit in right at home.
Because it was so different. Of course, you get that noise coming through, that typical movie trailer noise, which is it's like a siren or something. Isn't it? It's a Star Wars siren. So
it gets your attention. The Death Star siren. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, definitely. And really good cast as well. So it's all kind of shaping up to be quite a nice.
And we don't have any more confirmation of who these guys are at this moment. So I mean, Forrest Whitaker, I'm really intrigued as to who he is.
Yeah.
What kind of uniform is that? Is that ringing any bells? Because it looks just like.
No.
It almost looks like. The Emperor's guards, the red ones, right?
Yeah.
With the sticks.
Yeah.
It looks like a black version of that with the helmet ripped off.
Okay.
I didn't know if he's like really high ranking. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's quite cool because he looks like he's been captured and apprehended.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's even a good guy. Do you know what I mean? This is it. He's saying stuff that makes, and he's wearing black, so he's evil. But he could be a good dude, right?
Yeah. I mean, you do see those royal guards in the trailer.
Yeah.
You see somebody in a black cloak.
Who are going to be popping up in this movie? All right, let's do a bet. Let's do a bet right now. Who do you think? Big sort of stuff. Boba Fett. I'm talking Darth Vader, Palpatine, all of that.
Yeah.
Who's rocking up for you? Who's definitely in Rogue One?
Definitely Vader. Definitely Vader. Not a huge part. I know people want to see him kind of kick ass as he should, but I think we're going to see him for a time. Emperor, maybe not. I don't think we'll see Boba Fett.
No.
I think there's a whole nother film and there's a whole other thing going on with it.
They won't want to tease that a little? They're going to start dropping it in a Marvel-like way?
Well, it depends if these films really are going to stand on their own, or if they are going to kind of connect some way with the next Star Wars kind of story. I think we may see kind of Princess Leia as well. I mean,
really?
Maybe.
Ooh,
I reckon. Yeah. I mean, I reckon the film's got to end with the plans being handed over to her, right? I mean, whether they do it with kind of CG or it's just the back of her.
That'd be cool, man.
Because
that'd be really cool.
Her and the droids.
Yeah. Of course, those guys, because they've been hanging out with they're on that ship at the beginning of No Home, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean. Captain Antilles, who is the captain of that ship, of like the Tantive 4, him. But I think apart from that, I mean, I think we've got this cast of fantastic people
who are from the genre as well. A lot of them are, Alan Tudyk, these guys sort of know the thing. Mads Mikkelsen seems to be in everything at the moment. He's really exciting. So I just
I mean, like the only other confirmation obviously is Mon Mothma. She's there in the base. She's actually played by the same person who played her in Revenge of the Sith.
That's cool. Yeah,
those scenes were cut, sort of thing. So if you buy like the DVD, they're on there.
I do remember watching those on the special feature, but she's quite good because she just looks like
the woman from great,
it's really cool, and this has always been sort of, when you see those old movies and you're watching back, that we're into that more. The prequels are very sort of grounded, and futuristic, whereas A New Hope sort of those originals, it's sort of mixed together some sort of like traditional fantasy elements. You know what I mean? Like Mon Mothma could be in Lord of the Rings as well as being in Star Wars, and that's what I kind of like, that blend of like, I could wear some armour, but I'm going to wear my dress to the office
fantasy
today,
it's space kind of fantasy,
it's
opera.
Cool. She could bust out into a song at any point, I really like this stuff. She's back in singing for the Supremes or something, but really cool.
But I mean, those are the characters. I think it's fine to have them just to kind of tie those threads. I think to have kind of Boba Fett kind of turn up and just I don't think we need that.
It's a price on your head.
I think you can market a whole kind of movie. He'll probably turn up in the Han Solo movie.
Yeah,
I mean that's the thing. It's
where do you stand on Han Solo? I mean, could we be? Do you know what, man? I said this like last time when we were talking about de-aging Harrison Ford for Indiana Jones, to keep them coming.
Yeah.
Could they do a de-aged Han Solo scene where he steps on someone else's tail or something using the most modern effects?
That's the young Han Solo. I think there's so many more films and stories to do before we get there.
Yeah.
We don't need to get there. Obviously, the popularity of him is massive again because of The Force Awakens. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, picture this: you're in the cinema, right? You're watching this movie. You with me?
Yeah.
It's an out there scenario.
Yeah.
So you're in the cinema, you're watching this movie,
yeah,
and then all of a sudden it's just like Jyn Ezra's talking, and it's like, "Hey, I got this guy. He's going to help us get to this place for a price." And then in comes Abercrombie and Fitch model. It's like, "Hey, I'm Han Solo. Nice to meet you."
Yeah.
People would look, that would be horrible. That's a nightmare scenario for me at this moment.
It is for me, yeah. It is for me because it's just kind of like they kind of proved it with the Force Awakens. You can introduce these great new characters, and you don't need to use any of the old kind of characters. There's a place for them, and they'll get used at the right time. But I think just to kind of this isn't
that would I think that would kill people. I think it would, man. I'd dial it inside. I mean, there's candidates. I don't know if these are not up to date. I kind of look at this every now and then. This young Han Solo movie with disdain. I just don't want it. I just don't feel it's needed.
I'm kind of with you on that. I mean, just because it's kind of like Harrison Ford is Han Solo, right? I mean, and
the original trilogy are the young Han Solo movies, and now you've got old Han Solo movie, which is that's it, man. And he had all this horrible stuff happen to him in between, but he got to be a hero, and that's great. And he saved the universe for a while, kind of twice, So he did all right. He's doing all right, man. But I don't, and the thing is, the names you're seeing associated with it, like James Franco's little brother or Miles Teller, like cool actors, whatever, and it's just like, But the idea that James Franco, like what is his name? I can't remember. We'll just call him Mr. Franco. Mr. Franco rocks up in a Katina scene, wearing the waistcoat and the white thing, and he's like, "Hey, I can give you passage." You know what I mean? And sort of lines. That's scary. That's upsetting. I think
the only thing that I'm just kind of putting my trust in kind of Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy. They seem to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
She's an absolute kind of powerhouse in the films that she's made, and she's had a kind of hand in. So I mean, that's it. I don't like the idea of it, but I mean, I think that will be. You'll have to see that film to decide whether. Well,
that's the thing. It'll probably be a really good movie. Because they're not going to go and make a bad film just because they're making it a young Han Solo. Yeah. It'll just be that got a bit of bad taste in your mouth sort of thing.
But I mean, if you go back to third Indiana Jones film, there's a scene at the start.
I know, with it was River Phoenix, wasn't it?
Yeah, River Phoenix, and it was never a problem. You just kind of bought it.
But it was kind of like that was happening in an indie movie.
Yeah,
like,
totally.
Just like if we suddenly then got old Han Solo turning up, and they kept flashing back between, you might have a good shout with it. They recently did like a Beach Boys movie where they had the same actors playing different roles in their life. And I know this is a weird comparison, but they used it as a good dramatic tool. They kept switching between the young sort of optimistic musician and then the older guy who's got problems, and that could work for a Han Solo movie if Harrison Ford was involved, but he's kind of got to be in it as well for me, in order for that to work. But the long and short of it is, I don't want to see that happen in Rogue One. Basically.
No, and I think, like I said, you've got those little kind of bit part, sort of characters that will tie the threads together. These are kind of characters that we never knew anything about. We maybe read something about them on the back of like a trading card, but now to use them, they're known in the universe. Get them out, kind of roll them out. The guy in the cantina or the guy on the Death Star. Let's kind of find out what he's about.
Flesh these stories out, man.
Exactly. They exist in the universe, so let's have a bit of that. We know, we will have things like the Boba Fett film or however they do it, there will be a final answer on his kind of story, but I think for films like this you just get the guy that was in the background that had the beard or something, he's now a major kind of character in a film like this, which is great.
The stormtrooper who hit his head, is sort of walking around and still, he's got problems, but he turns up and he's now with the rebels because they didn't give him the health cover after, and he has loads of problems, So
they chucked him out.
Yes, so flesh this stuff out, man. Give us some insight. I feel a Wookiee might turn up.
A Wookiee.
We're just going to go through all of them,
Wookiees. Where are we with Wookiees at the time? I mean, they're enslaved, by the Empire.
What?
I mean,
this is exciting, right?
Yeah,
they can do anything.
This is kind of using old kind of legends kind of material as well as a bit of maybe what happened in the films and that sort of thing. So who kind of knows now? We're out in this unknown kind of world sort of thing, and it's like I don't know. I think maybe let's have a new kind of monster friend or like a robot friend or kind of something like that. I think you have to be really careful with these kind of legacy sort of characters, just kind of having them appear just to put bums on seats. It will do that sort of anyway.